Everybody, please mute yourselves too till the commercial's over. And feel free to use the chat to drop all your contact information. I want you guys to be able to network, reach out to who you like. Don't spam anybody, but yeah, all the other things.
Month. You log in, you poke. You're paying for Go High Level every month. You log in, you poke around, you feel a little overwhelmed, and you log back out. The leads pile up, the follow-ups don't happen, and your CRM just sits there, collecting digital dust. That's exactly why the 14-day Simplified GHL Challenge was built. One action inside your GHL back office every day for 14 days. By the end, you'll know your system. You'll trust your system. Simplify, clean up, automate, build workflows that work when you aren't. Delegate, step into CEO mode. The 14-day Simplified GHL Challenge begins the third Monday of every month. Scan the code to reserve your spot.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Monday Morning Business Foreplay. I'm super excited to be here with you today, more so than probably any other week this year, because last week was a really rough week for me health-wise. But that all is fine and dandy because it brought us to where we are today, which is having Monday Morning Business Foreplay with Miss Gini Trask as our guest today. And we're really going to talk about building a minimalist business. And I'm super excited about that. Having a minimalist business is what helps me to be able to do all the things I need to do in life, including, spending all week in and out of the ER and getting CAT scans and things like that for kidney stones last week, as well as the week before I took 4 days and went camping, took the grandbabies out on the lake for the last time for the summer, rented a pontoon boat, and really just had a great time. So if you're an entrepreneur who's building a business and you're madly passionate about your business, but you also want to be madly passionate about your life, then building a minimalist business is absolutely essential. It's what allows me to also hold my challenge every month. So the challenge, the 14-day Simplified Go High Level Challenge, is held on the third Monday of every month. And that is something that is actually automated and takes very little effort on my part because I've built a very structured system behind it so that my business can work when I'm not. Jenny, welcome to Monday Morning Business Foreplay. I'm super excited to have you. Will you take a few minutes and introduce yourself, not only as an entrepreneur, but also as a person, human being, so that we can remember fun things about you that make you personable?
Absolutely. All right, guys. So hi, I'm Gini Trask. I've owned or operated 6 multi-million-dollar companies, but I've also owned and operated a lot more than that. I'm from a family of entrepreneurs, and so it's literally like second nature to me to own a business. As a matter of fact, at one point in my life, when I did decide to go and work for someone else, my family was like, "I'm sorry, you're going to do what? What? Why would you do that?" Right? So I think, I had some really great shoulders to lean on, shoulders to stand on when it came to operating a business. And it wasn't until I kind of got out into the world and realized, with other entrepreneurs that not everyone had that. Not everyone had that support and that structure. And then of course I found some tricks along the way that my family never did find, like public speaking, right? I think that speaking is absolutely the most efficient way to grow your business. Absolutely, would not be where I am today if it wasn't for speaking. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as a part of the minimalist business model. But yeah, other things that I like to do. I have some property. I call it my forest property. It's a 30-acre property out in the middle of nowhere. And I like to be able to go out there for like 5 days and not talk to anybody and shut my phone off and, not do anything. I actually, as another business, lead people on retreats out there where I make them turn their phone off and not deal with their business for 5 days. I love to do things like that. I love to go camping. I love to, now that I have this business, I love to be able to vacation and not pick up my phone, because for a long time vacations were my job, or they were my work. I had a very successful travel business. So, those are the things that I want to make space for in my business. And that's why building a minimalist business is really something I'm passionate, not just about helping myself to do, but helping other people to do as well.
That's interesting that you say that. I didn't know that about your 30 acres. So we sit on 44 here, and we've actually talked many times about building an event center and bringing people here for retreats, because it's a totally different, not only way of life, but a different mindset when you are disconnected from society, from your phones, from the internet. And just like to put things in perspective, we didn't have, well, we had dial up internet until it's only been, it was a year ago last January
Wow.
we got something different. And when we first hooked up our Starlink, I said to my husband at the time, I said, I'm going to go ahead and send an email, and then I'll see how long it takes. And I sent it and went to the page to see how long it would take, and was going to set my phone down and come back and check, because it always took at least 24 hours. And it had
Oh
already,
my God.
and I was like, holy cow, this is so worth $250 a month. I love Elon Musk. This is going to be an amazing.
Yep.
And so that was, yeah, but getting out in nature is one of my favorite things to really do. But also just there's a confidence and a relief that comes in life knowing that your business is still running on the back end.
Yeah. Yeah, there really is. And guys, I've done it. I mean, I think the reason I'm so into this and teaching this and helping people with this, because by the way, this is I was telling Colleen, I was on the show, I don't know, couple months ago, maybe, talking about my momentum program, which it follows a model that I'm going to talk to you guys about, which is the minimal sales model. But I've got my momentum program, and it just kind of like runs on autopilot and that kind of stuff. So I talked about getting on 2 podcasts a week, and I talked about everything that's involved in that program. But I didn't talk about this, and this is kind of my first time really delivering this exact content, which I'm excited about, because this is for me the next thing that I want to help entrepreneurs to reach. Because I've done it the wrong way. Guys, I had a business that, look, it was beautiful on paper. Okay. We were doing $5 million a year in business. I had 10, between contractors and employees, I had 10-ish, 10 to 12 people that worked for me. I was managing another probably $5 million worth of travel for another company, and just getting paid a management fee. And we were a travel company we were the biggest in our industry that served network marketing companies, so multi-level marketing companies, and we would provide their team trips, their incentive travel, and we also served the largest, and at the time the only multi-level marketing company that provided travel. So we were their largest North American supplier. We had on average 150 trips a year. That's 3 trips a week. And our average trip had 400 people on it. So here's the problem with that, okay, is you pretty much work 7 days a week, because you can only talk to suppliers during the week, but all the trips travel on the weekend. So for about 14 years of my life, I basically worked 7 days a week. And it really was through public speaking that I figured out that there could be another way. I just was exhausted. I was completely burnt out. And I was like, there's got to be a better way to do this. And really my biggest problem at the time, that I thought was my biggest problem at the time, was sales and marketing, right? I'm like, I don't know where the next, batch of clients is going to come from. And I had spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on ads. I had hired marketing agencies that got me nothing, right? I had probably spent at this point $750,000 on marketing, right? And I didn't really feel like I was any further along. And sales felt like I was trying to wrestle fish into a boat. And the boat was rocking and I was getting nauseous, right? And when I found speaking, I realized that I could connect with people through speaking. They could see who I was. They could see what I was about. They could see what was different about working with me, and I say snap, it's not that quick, right? I'm not talking about a 30-second reel on Facebook. I'm talking about being on a podcast or teaching a workshop or being an in-person speaking at your local Rotary or a LaTip or a conference, letting people get to know you for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and see what your heart is all about, because most of us build our businesses based out of something that is deeply embedded in our heart. And when I realized that I could do this and that I could do marketing and sales at the same time by speaking, I was sold. And the very first time that I got on stage, I sold a $5,000 package. I sold one. I had a room of 25 people, and I sold one package of $5,000. And at that time in my business, it took me 120 man hours to make $5,000. So that's really the beginning for me. That was the beginning of this minimalist model. Yeah.
I love that, Jenny. And I'm going to say that when I first started online, I was trying to record reels, talking to the camera, blah, blah, blah. And I had family members say, just stop, just stop. You're reading it. It sounds so choppy. You need to just talk to people and connect to people.
Yep.
And that I feel that on so many levels, it's so much
Yep.
easier for me to just talk to people. And one of the things that I talk about a lot is how many touch points do you get when you're actually speaking at a summit, on a stage, something like that? People see your mannerisms. Like you said,
Yep.
they can feel your heart. They see the way you flip your hair. They can hear you enunciate your words. All of these different things are more touch points with people that resonate, that make you more personable, that make them like you more. All of those things that skips that 120 man hours you were putting in. Because if
Right.
you're just reading a caption and seeing a
Right.
graphic, you've removed 90% of those
Mm-hmm.
things.
Yeah.
And so
Yep.
this is so much easier.
And it's the difference, right? Of now what speaking really is, like, to go back to the fishing analogy, right? Before, right? I again felt like I was wrestling fish into the boat, right? Casting my line out there, hoping for a bite. And then here starts the struggle, right? I got to reel them in. I got to get them in the boat. Speaking is more like you're standing on the front of the boat and you're like, hey, this is my boat. This is what my boat's about. And they jump in the boat. The fish jump in the boat. There's a great, like, I think it's a Bud Light commercial from like the early 90s with these football players. And they're like, boy, this fishing thing's pretty easy. Hey, fish, get in the boat. And all the fish jump in the boat, right? And that really is what speaking feels like to me. And that's why, like, for me, the minimalist model, like, it hinges on a few things. So like, what do I mean when I say minimalist business, right? I'm looking 20 hours a week or less, right? Ideally. Um, and and something that, like, and so it's not just marketing. So I do marketing and sales. Like, for me, speaking is the entire marketing and sales plan is speaking. Now, I do a couple of different types of speaking, and we'll get into like what I think is the most effective here in a sec. But speaking for marketing, in terms of operations, right? You guys have got to work with somebody like Colleen, or get, at the very least, you've got to get your Go High Level set up to work the way that it should, right? Follow-ups should go out automatically. Everything should basically, appointments should be automated. Email, get your email marketing together. Like, that piece of it, the follow-up piece, when a lead comes into your system, has got to be on point. And I'm not going to talk about that because that's what Colleen talks about. And really, you guys should just work with her for that. But then it's also about having what I call the minimal sales model. So we're going to I'll kind of go more deeply into that. But to me, that's what it is. It's a business that takes less than 20 hours a week, that has one very strategic way of marketing that actually makes all the other marketing and sales easier. It's having your systems, that having a CRM that actually does what a CRM is supposed to do, and then having the minimal sales model.
Absolutely. And that is a mistake that I see so many speakers make, Jenny. And I can't shout it from the rooftops loud enough. If you get on stage and you speak and you do not have a follow-up system in place, you have wasted your time, your energy, and everybody else's. You are leaving money on the
Yes.
table every single time. You've got to have
Yes.
that system in place so that automatically these people that came to listen to you and were interested are followed up with. They're nurtured, they're led to your offer, and you're off doing your own thing. That's the biggest thing for me as a grandma of 14, I'm busy. I'm busy. We just put four big kids' big wheels together yesterday. They're the drifting big wheels. Like they have handbrakes and stuff. They're kind of a big
Wow.
deal for these little 7-year-olds we have running around here, right? Um, I'm busy. I don't have more than 21 hours a week
Nope.
that I
There
am
you go.
interested in doing this.
There
So
you go. Absolutely. So, so you're absolutely right. If you are speaking, so first of all, let's dive into the speaking piece a little bit, right? And guys, I've done it a lot of different ways. I do get paid to speak on occasion. Okay, I do speak in person because in person is powerful. However, um, when I was only speaking in person for my business, that you want to talk time suck. I had to drive to the airport, get on a plane, go to another city, speak, right? And yeah, I made sales. In person speaking, you will if you will make sales, right? And I still do. I speak at the small business expos. I make tons of sales that way, but it's not the most time effective. The most time effective thing that you can do for your business in terms of speaking is to get on podcasts. Now, when I say that, I don't mean one podcast a month. I mean 2 podcasts a week. So my strategy on this piece of the business is 2 podcasts a week and at least one of my own stages a month. So whether that's a webinar or like I host Speakers Playhouse every Thursday. So I host my own stage every single week, right? So, but two other people's stages a week, okay? At least one stage of your own a month, and then one in-person speaking opportunity a month in your own community, whether that's a workshop that you lead or you go and speak at a college, a Rotary, your library, whatever it is. Okay, that's my speaking strategy. And that's why in my momentum program, like we introduce people to two podcasts a week, and we teach you how to go out and get those local opportunities and those in-person opportunities as well. Because this is the strategy that has created the business that I have now, right? 2 podcasts a week. Now, why the podcast? Number one, you can do it right here. You don't have to even put on shoes. Okay. I'm not wearing shoes. I mean, I am wearing pants. I do suggest you wear pants, but I guess you don't have to if you don't want to. I did have a guy one time get on a summit that wasn't wearing pants. We all figured that out. Highly recommend you wear pants, but you don't have to wear shoes, right? You don't have to get in the car. So number one, it's time efficient. Number two, you are transferring the trust from the host to yourself. Number three, you are fishing in their pond, not your own, right? So you're going out, you're getting in new ponds, right, all the time, and it's worldwide. Number three, the average podcast listener makes $75,000 a year, has a 4-year degree, and listens to you for 25 minutes. Okay. They also tend to be people who are the movers and shakers. Just from a demographics standpoint, they mostly are listening to podcasts to better themselves, to further themselves. So they're a more qualified lead. And the content from that, okay, I'm not big on social media. I don't use social media for my business. I don't need to. Because I get plenty of leads for my minimal sales model, which I'll talk about later, through just speaking. But if you do want to, use that content, like Colleen said, it's so much better than you trying to make up a reel. This is like the content you're going to get off a podcast is it's much more alive because it's you and this person interacting, and you can get these golden nuggets. There are some great softwares out there, Encore Replay. There's a couple others. You can use AI to repurpose that content. There's several different content repurposing platforms out there. But that even then, one podcast episode can provide a month's worth of content if that's what you want to use it for. So again, when we're talking about efficiency, 2 podcasts a week, one of your own stages at least a month, and then one in-person stage in your local community is what I do for the sales and marketing piece. But right behind that, guys, is that follow up with those leads that Colleen's talking about.
Yeah, Jenny, I wrote those down. Well, I typed those, sorry, and I dropped them in the chat so everybody could see them because I really kind of wanted to see them myself. So you're talking about 10 events, speaking events per month minimum.
Yeah.
And one of the things I didn't realize until I started hanging out with you and Kimberly is actually how many events I speak at between summits. But then, and I thought, well, I mean, I think at some event I was at, they said, drop something if you've spoken 100 times or something. And I was like, no, I'm thinking everybody's summits I've been on, events I've spoken at, I don't think it's been 100. And then they're like, and count your own. I'm like, well, hell yes.
Right.
Your girl's been doing this
Right.
a hot minute, right? So those
Absolutely.
count. And then I love your comments about repurposing those. One of the things that we do for our guests, and I know actually I don't think other podcast hosts do this. I haven't received it back from other podcast hosts. What I have received from other podcast hosts is a copy of the replay or a link to the replay of my presentation or my podcast speaking gig. But what we do, what my team does is they take this recording right now that we're making and they cut it down for you into a minimum of 3 clips that highlight you as an expert in your field. And then we send them to you as a gift along with a testimonial form like, hey, please let us know how your experience was. But you have those immediately. You can go put it out there. And it's also boosting me. That gets into the JV thing a little bit. Is let's fish in each other's ponds. That's really a very quick way to grow your business. Now, when I was meeting with my team this morning, one of the things that I did, Jenny, is I pulled up your Google sheet.
Oh yeah. Oh, you mean the great the great lead magnet one, the one how to make a lead magnet, or which one?
The one that tells you plug in how many clients you have, what your initial cost is, what your MRR is, and it shows you how many clients you need to get in order to meet your goals.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's amazing because you can easily do that from speaking. It's a no-brainer. Once you see that, you know that you can do that.
Yeah. So if let's stay on the leads thing a little bit longer and talk about that because so I have this philosophy, and this I did talk about the last time I was on your show and it's not really a philosophy. It's proven like neuroscience. It's proven behavioral science. So the ultimate state of anyone really is play. We should all endeavor to be in a state of play as much as possible, but especially for entrepreneurs. We're innovators. We are the people we're moving the world forward with solutions. And the best place for us to be is in a state of play. That is the ultimate state for us to be in. And the more that we can be in that state, again, not in the admin, but in that state, the more that we are going to show up for our clients in a bigger way, create even better solutions than the ones we originally came up with. These Fortune 500 CEOs, when you see them on yachts and at the Kentucky Derby and the Super Bowl, they are actually doing more for the business in those moments than they are sitting in the boardroom. And most people think that in order to get there, what they need is more sales, and they don't, because I'm about to teach you a different model for that. What you actually need is enough leads. You go to any major Fortune 500 company, and what do when they want to drive sales? They turn up their leads. Every major Fortune 500 company, they don't go, we need more sales, guys. We need more sales. They do that. But in order to get more sales, what they do is they get more leads. So I want you to imagine that you're trying to fill up a swimming pool, okay, with leads. Okay. And you're going to put in your Facebook and you're going to turn on that faucet, and you're going to put in your Instagram and you're going to turn on that faucet, and you're going to turn on, a summit, you're going to turn on that faucet. Okay. The problem with or paid ads, we can turn on that faucet. All of those, the problem with them is that the moment that you stop posting, the moment the summit is over, the moment that you stop paying for ads, those faucets turn off. Podcast guesting does not turn off. those faucets stay on forever. Okay. And again, that's why that's the primary focus of my coaching program is around the podcast guesting and getting the most out of that you can. What most of you need is more leads. And so what I want you to think about is take the number of sales that you need to make in a month and multiply it by 1,000. That's the number of leads that you need per month. Okay. Now, here's the cool part. That's really the number of exposures that you need. Okay. It's really the number of exposures. Now, here's the cool part. On a podcast, if you were just to get on 2 podcasts a week, super easy to get in front of 1 million eyeballs in a year. So if you guys could all get in front of 1 million eyeballs in a year, do you think that you would do more business? Probably. But you do have to have that follow-up system, right? Because when people come in, they need to immediately be getting, because to be honest, they're warmer. So a podcast lead or a speaking lead, that lead is very hot for you at the moment. And so you need to strike while the iron is hot. So you need a system like what Colleen teaches to follow up with those, right?
Absolutely.
So now, yeah, go ahead.
I think that what you touched on there was key when you said immediate follow-up. So imagine yourself like you were in Ginny's position, traveling cross country, and you're calling motels like you need a room. Okay, this is a little old-fashioned because I know y'all youngins out there are doing it on your phone, but some of us still call. So we're calling the motels like we need a room. Whoever answers the phone, you book the room with.
That's right.
Phone. So when someone comes into your world, the first person that responds gets the business.
Yeah,
it's the same thing, and it should be set up that way.
Yep. And I want to, Colleen, I'm on your mailing list and I get your mails and you mail very frequently. Like it seems like at least 3 days a week. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So I want to speak to that a little bit and talk to you guys about, people get really weird about it. Like they get really weird about following up and they get really weird about emailing. The thing is that when somebody signs up for your list, they know what is going to happen.
Yes.
They signed up because they want it to happen. They signed up. The beautiful part about speaking is that when someone shows up to your talk, it is because they are like, oh yeah, this is going to move me forward. There's a reason my program's called Momentum, right? I'm all about moving forward. This is going to move me forward. Awesome. Okay. Then your talk is like helping them like, oh yeah, this is great. This is what I came here for. Awesome. When you give that lead magnet, they're like, yep, this is going to move me forward. Awesome. Right. And so they grab it. They're saying yes to you. They actually reached out their hand and they're like, yep, you're the one. I want to work with you. I think you got great stuff. So if you don't follow up with them, that is on you. That is not on them. You have made a decision for them. And by the way, last year I was coaching inside of a friend of mine's company because she needed some help. Their average client got 150 emails before they would buy from them. What if they never sent those 150 emails? And I'll give you guys another perfect example. I am on a mailing list for a company called Spoonflower. They're a wallpaper company. Okay. They email me every day and they text message me almost every day. Okay. Guess what? I'm going to buy wallpaper. Now I have been on their list for 2 years. For 2 years, I've been ignoring their emails and I've been ignoring their text messages. And I found some gorgeous wallpaper that was fed to me from another site. And what did I do? I went to their site and looked it up and I am buying the wallpaper from them. It has been 2 years. But they are the company that I am going to buy my wallpaper from when I buy wallpaper. Right. And I did find the wallpaper and then I actually found something better on their site that I'm going to buy. But if they hadn't done that, I wouldn't have had that level of loyalty with them. They wouldn't have been top of mind. And I know, and they run special. And so I know I'm like, I got a coupon code in here. Right. So please do not clean I hate this new trend of cleaning your list. Don't clean your list. Do not unsubscribe people from your list who did not ask you to unsubscribe them. They might just be waiting to work with you. And now they're going to stop hearing from you. Sorry, I'm very passionate about this. So I don't
No,
mean to like,
yeah, I agree, Jenny, and I think that it's like moving into a neighborhood and you want to make friends with everybody, and somebody comes to your house, and so you go out and you stand at the edge of the sidewalk and talk to them. Cool. Why didn't you invite them in? Like they literally come all the way up the block to your house, and you're like, let's stand at the edge of the road and talk. No, come on in.
right.
Have them, welcome them into your world. They're interested in you. And that is so, so, so vitally important to do. And I also agree with the waiting thing. And I ignore things all the time. Believe me, I
Yeah,
have 12,000 emails right now in one of my inboxes. I
yeah.
ignore the ones. And when I'm ready for it, I go search that name and find what I want.
But you don't want it to be hard to find either, right? Like you're like, right. And then it's also fun because it's, you never know when it's going to be the right wording at the right time. You're not bothering them. They will just ignore it until they are ready, but you best be there when they're ready, because there's a reason they haven't unsubscribed. There's a reason they haven't unsubscribed. It's
Absolutely.
because in the back of their mind, they still want to work with you. They just haven't done it yet. Trust me, if they want to unsubscribe, they will. Okay, they will unsubscribe. Don't worry. Don't you worry about them. They can handle themselves, okay, and their own boundaries, and they will unsubscribe if they want to. So don't do it for them. Okay, I will get off the soapbox about that.
Well,
Okay,
I
so
want to say too, Jenny, that one of the things that I do on mine is at the bottom of my email where there would be an unsubscribe button.
mhm.
There is also an opt out button that you can click, and it will ask you what you want to opt out of.
Yep,
Because maybe you have a prior commitment every Monday morning and you can't be at Monday Morning Business Foreplay. Then go opt out of that, and I will no longer send you that, but I'll send
yep,
you everything else, right? And
yep.
so that does give them options so that they can stay in the ones that they want. So a little bit different than just an unsubscribe.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that. I love that. And I'm sure you probably do that for your clients too, because that's a big deal. Right. So one of the big things that I teach is, now I don't do systems like Colleen, but absolutely you better have a great lead magnet, right? Something that is, and I'm going to give that as
Evergreen,
a bonus. Hmm?
evergreen, evergreen.
Evergreen. Yep. A
And I
great
tell
evergreen
you,
lead magnet.
yes, as a podcast host, I have people come back to me years later and they're like, hey, I wanted to reach out to this person, but their lead magnet doesn't work. I'm like, thank you.
And I want you guys to hear that years later. I have clients that are getting clients from podcasts they recorded 3 years ago. Like, it's evergreen, right? So one of the things I'll give you guys is, when I give my free gift today, I'm going to give you my great lead magnet gift as well as a bonus. So I'll give you guys that extra gift, because it is important that you have a great lead magnet. Now, Colleen, if you guys are using GHL, this doesn't show you how to set it up on GHL because at the time that I made it, I didn't have GHL, but but all the principles still apply. So I'll add that to as a bonus for everybody who grabs the lead magnet today. Okay, so now let's talk about, we've got leads flowing in, right? We've got leads flowing in because we're doing 2 podcasts a week and one of our own stages at least a month, and then an in-person stage. So sales, right? One of the big things that I see people, there's all these bro marketers and the Grant Cardones and the Dean Graziosis of the world, and all these coaches who are like, high ticket, you need high ticket. Well, here's the deal. Some of us did not actually really plan to be in business. We just had something on our heart that we really wanted to bring to the world. We had a solution that we knew could help move people forward, and our heart is really big, and we want to share this with the world. We are not salespeople. We are not trained in sales. Some of us recoil at the idea of sales, right? Yeah. And so it's a big leap to go from not liking sales to selling a $25,000 program or even a $5,000 program. Okay. So my minimal sales model that I plug into this program, and so I have a bracket on piece to my momentum for people that want to install the minimal sales model. And it actually doesn't change the price at all. It's just extra training that I give you. So this minimal sales model is all about how you can hit your goals, but make the minimum number of sales. And it's going to look a little different for each person. And Colleen was talking about, there's a Google Doc that I shared with her about, how to create this. She joined a class that I held on the minimal sales model. So this is monthly. What we want to do is we want to create monthly recurring revenue. Okay. And then we want to have like an initiation fee. Okay. And I'm just going to tell you guys that, so my cost of my program, this is for illustrator first, but it is the real cost. So my program, my momentum program, it's $1,000 upfront. Okay. And then it's $333 a month, and you can cancel at any time. Okay. So now you need to give something for the initiation fee. So what I give is I do 5 one-on-ones to make sure that you are optimized to get on these stages. So is your talk something that people actually want? Is your lead magnet something that people want and it makes sense with your talk? Is your talk title good, or is it like some weird AI crap that isn't actually going to draw people in? Right? Because your talk title should filter in and out, right? So we get all that together. We make sure that you're optimized to get on the podcast. We work on your content. Now, then it's the $333 a month. So for that, they get 2 group coaching sessions a week, and then one-off skill building sessions. And then twice a month, we teach them how to get on local stages, okay? For $333 a month, right? And then we also introduce them to 2 podcasts a week. So guys, I want you to think this through. Now, what am I really committed to, right? I've got the one-on-ones in the beginning, okay? So every time I bring on new clients, I've got some one-on-ones. Now, my one-on-ones are half an hour, and they may be shorter, okay? They may be shorter than that if they don't need to be half an hour. I let everyone know that. I am not about stretching out a call just because it was for a set amount of time. I just think that's total BS. And by the way, I recommend to everybody. So most of my calls are 15 minutes. If you get on my calendar, it is a 15-minute call. We can accomplish a ton in 15 minutes as long as you know it's 15 minutes. A ton, right? So first of all, one way to get more time back is to shorten all the calls that you do. And please, for the love of God, nobody should be doing an hour-long call. Okay, half an hour max. I sell my program in half an hour. I used to sell a high ticket program when I was helping my friend out with sales in her business. I could sell her high ticket program in 10 minutes. Okay. So you don't necessarily need to have longer calls. And actually my initial call with a lot of people about my program is only 15 minutes. We kind of talk through whether or not we think it'll work for you. And then we can have a longer call if you want, right? I can always book a second call. So cut down your call times. All right. Rule number 1. But so let's think about, what am I really committed to? Okay. I'm committed to the one-on-ones. Okay. So for each client, what that winds up being is, it winds up being a couple of hours, right? In the month, a couple of hours. Now, I only need to sell 3 clients a month in order to make over $100,000 a year in this business. If that's all I did, if I never sold an upsell, if I never sold a retreat, if I never sold any upsells, okay, 3 clients a month. What if you only had to make 3 sales a month, guys? Right? It's pretty amazing. And then I have another coach that leads one of my coaching sessions. So then what am I committed to? 1 coaching session a week, and then that one-off coaching, my other coach can do that one as well. I can do it or she can do it. We kind of trade off, right? So an hour, literally an hour. I have an hour a week that I coach in a group. The other hour is covered by another coach. And then right here and there, we have other things. That's it. So my delivery is super simple. It's super easy. And again, the price point, what you're looking for, guys, is an easy yes price point, right? My price point is an easy yes, and it's cancel anytime. I'm not locking anybody into anything. If they get into their second or third month and they don't want to be in, okay, they can cancel. And I have personally a no haggle cancellation policy, because if you want, I am not about wrestling you into the boat. My wrestling days are over. Like, I'm not into that, right? If you want to cancel. I totally no haggle. We will do it for you. Some people make it difficult because, like, yeah, sure, here's the instructions how to cancel. No, I just send it to my assistant. I'm like, please cancel them. It's fine. I'm not trying to make this difficult. But here's the thing. Now, I want you to think about, like, the other thing a lot of coaches do is they're like, okay, well, now you've sold this many at this price. Now you got to raise your price. Again, for those of us who are not natural salespeople, that's a whole nother shift now to sell at a higher price point. And every time that you change something in your business, your sales will dip every time. You can change one thing and your sales will dip for a period of time. Change your web page, your sales are going to change for a bit. Change the way you structure your sales calls, your sales are going to dip. Change the way you it takes an adjustment period. Every time you raise your price, your sales are going to dip for a little bit. Okay. What I'm about is getting you off the revenue roller coaster. And I want you to just have a very even cadence. Okay. Now I have like a 50% close rate. So in order to sell three packages a month, I only need to get on 6 calls, half-hour calls a month, right? And then I want you guys to think about, so in terms of increasing my price, because every coach is like, increase your price, increase your price, increase your price all the time. What I can do is just really pay attention to what my people need. And the more that I really hone into that and deliver what they need, the longer they stay in, which is, oh, so no, honey, it's $333 a month. It's $1,000 up front and $333 a month. Yeah. So the thing is that it is, sorry, I've got to bring myself back to center because I had to answer that question. So I'm automatically increasing the price of my program by just giving more value and paying more attention and keeping my folks in longer. So when I first started, my average retention per like over months was they would stay in for about 5 months. Okay. And so what I did was I figured out, okay, well, when they drop out, why are they drop? Like, what's causing the drop? Like, what can we do? Right now, my average person stays in for 8 months. So guys, that's a big difference, right? If just the simple math, right, on that, if I increase them by another, so let's call it another 3 months, right? That's another $1,000. So I've effectively increased the price of my program by $1,000, but I didn't have to get all in my energetics about it. I didn't have to go have a healing session with my Akashic Records healer to get through my crap to increase my price for $1,000. Right? I didn't have to go to my therapist and talk about my money issues from when I was a child. All I did was provide more value to my clients, which really didn't cost me anything. And I was able to increase my package by $1,000 essentially. So that is the minimal sales model that I think is really, really powerful. So what you're looking for in that, just to summarize, guys, is an initiation fee, and then a monthly fee that is going to work for you. It's got to work for you. It's got to work for them. There are, like, you can research, there are kind of average so it's called churn when people cancel out of your program. That's called churn. Okay. So what I have found is that at $500 a month, most people will churn at about 3 to 4 months. At $300 a month, you can really, for most people, if you're really delivering well, take that all the way out to about a year at $333 a month. At $99 a month, you can usually go well beyond a year. At $49 a month, you can go several years. At $27 a month, they will almost never cancel. Okay. So, and it also depends on what you're giving, right, for in exchange. But those are just some kind of general numbers.
I love that. And I think you had mentioned your lead magnet. Do you have that link handy? I looked for it.
I do. Yeah. I do have it handy.
I want
Yeah.
to take a minute and let everybody know that if they have any questions, now is a good time to raise your digital hand, your virtual hand, and we will get to those shortly. Jenny, this has been phenomenal. I love the entire system for multiple reasons. Number one, I'm not a salesperson. Number two, I don't like sitting in an office. I spend the majority of my time outside. And I don't like working more than 20 hours a week. I just don't. And I think that one of the things we do as we age is that we decide that people stay in our life who want to be there, and those who don't care enough can leave. And so I love that we're not chasing people to be a part of our program, our business, our life. Really, we can build something that resonates with us, fits our lifestyle, and delivers great value, and be able to build a business that way. We really have shifted out of that time period where they were like, okay, how many problems can you solve? Do you have 15 lead magnets? Because you probably need 15. No, let's go back to having one or two, maybe three, but one or two that you focus on. The third one is something that you throw in with your coaching or you give to your clients as you see that they need it, but not have such a cluster
Yeah,
going on. Let's
absolutely.
simplify, streamline, and minimalize all the things we're doing in our business while optimizing our income and our lifestyle. I think that
Absolutely.
that is key to success as midlife entrepreneurs. You know, we really are here for the lifestyle. We did the other struggle, the first 50,
Yep,
right?
absolutely. Speaking of lifestyle, guys, my mom has just been in the hospital for 2 weeks. I actually, Colleen, have to step away to go help her with something. I can come back to answer questions if you want to aggregate some questions, but I
Let's see if
do need to.
anybody has
Okay.
questions. Any questions for anybody, or shall we say goodbye to Miss Jenny? Miss Jenny, thank you so much. I appreciate this.
Thank
We
you.
have those links in here. Everybody grab those. Thank you, Jenny, so much for being here. I appreciate you sharing your expertise. I will get on a call with you because we will be working together, and I really look forward to that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Um,
Thanks, guys. All right. Bye.
Everybody else, thank you so much for joining us today for Monday Morning Business Foreplay. I feel like this was hugely valuable. I personally know Jenny on a personal level. I have thoroughly enjoyed working with her in every instance. And she is the kind of entrepreneur, role model, leader that I was so desperately looking for when I first came online. She is true to the core, leads with heart. She is what she is. She walks the walk and does what she says she's going to do. And those are the people that I want in my world. And so those are the people that I love highlighting on Monday Morning Business Foreplay. If you are interested in being a guest speaker here, I would love to have you here on this. I will grab a link that I can drop in here for anybody that wants to apply. There is a process that we follow. It's not huge, but it is important. And I will grab that link right here. One of the things that we do ask, and that Jenny is so good at, and a few of my other guests have been super amazingly good at, is that we cross promote. When we're working together to build businesses online, having a joint venture or having a collaborator, the important thing is that you're lifting and boosting each other. You are fishing in each other's ponds. It is a known thing. It is not something that you should be embarrassed to do. It is actually something that builds your business in a way that is super, super easy. And so I do ask everybody that comes on as a guest to make sure that they are willing to cross promote. And then also make sure that you participate. So many times I've had people come on and say, oh, I didn't know what to expect. Well, then come out first. My goodness, do your research, research me, find out a little bit more about me. And if this is where you want to be and you feel like would be a good fit for you, then please go ahead and apply to be a guest speaker. So this has been Monday Morning Business Foreplay. I'm so grateful to Jenny for joining us. And if today's conversation has helped you to see something differently, to make one clearer decision, or to take a meaningful step forward, then this hour did exactly what it was designed to do, because clarity creates momentum and momentum beats motivation every time. And speaking of momentum, that is the name of Jenny's program. So amazing. Thank you guys for coming out, and we will see you next week. Be sure to save the chat, and please be sure to grab both of Jenny's free gifts.
Colleen, Jenny's second gift isn't here. It's
It is there. I saw her.
No, all we have is the Magic Journal, which I know I already downloaded.
Yeah, both links are the same. Okay, let me,
One link is from you, which is the
yeah,
masterclass.
she gave us the Magic Journal again. Let me, see if I have it saved under Jenny. Because I have it somewhere. It's just a matter of finding it. I'm going to quit live streaming real quick.